If you're both feeding at the breast and pumping, you've probably realized that these are not the same skill. You may be wondering if your baby's getting enough milk at the breast since you can't see the ounces, or maybe you're struggling to get enough milk in the bottle, even though your baby seems pretty content at the breast. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to fit both into your schedule. Well, today we're going to talk about all of those things and more. We'll discuss breastfeeding and pumping and how they function differently, how you can combine them more effectively to build and protect your milk supply in a way that works with your specific needs, goals, and lifestyle. The truth is, your body responds differently to a baby than it does to a breast pump. So when you're both feeding at the breast and pumping, if one isn't working efficiently, everything starts to feel off balance and your milk supply can become unpredictable. But when you bring them together in the right way, they support each other so you can feed your baby with calm and confidence. And that's what I want for you. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand the 5 foundational steps you need to master in order to effectively combine breastfeeding and pumping together. If you're new here, my name is Allison Tolman. I'm an IBCLC and a breast pump expert. I'm also the founder of New Little Life. Our pumping courses and curriculums have helped thousands of moms master both breastfeeding and pumping so that they can feel most in control of their milk supply. Today I'll be sharing with you a few principles from our Pumping Efficiently course, so let's dive in. Let's start by quickly talking through the main differences between pumping and nursing, feeding at the breast, breastfeeding, whatever you want to call that, to understand how these are 2 completely different skill sets. I actually have a whole nother video deep diving this, so we're going to keep this short here. I'll put that video down below for you. When your baby nurses at the breast, this process is largely baby-led. Okay, your baby controls the pace, the rhythm. When they initiate letdowns, they're doing this really intuitively when they want more milk, and they're not thinking about it and you're not thinking about it. You also have the benefits of having an infant close. You've got touch, smell, connection to assist with letdowns and hormones. The baby's also controlling the supply by asking for more or less, again, just using their intuition here, and this happens really naturally. So when they're growing or going through a growth spurt, they're going to ask for more. When supply becomes too much and they don't take as much, it's going to naturally slow things down a little bit. You aren't really doing much here. Not doing much. I know you're doing a ton. But as far as milk supply management, other than following your baby's cues, all right? Pumping, however, is completely led by you. You control the milk supply. You decide when milk is removed, for how long, and how often. You decide how much milk to remove, and you send those signals of making more milk to your brain. You initiate letdowns. That's on you to decide how many and when in a session. A pump also doesn't really give your brain the same sensory input that a baby does, so you need to intentionally create those physical and emotional cues. You are in total control of your milk supply here, whether you're sending the right cues or not. You control the robot machine pump. A lot of moms comment on our videos saying my output is low when I pump, or how much milk should I be pumping each time, or how often should I pump? And I get it. It's a lot to manage on your own, especially when you are also feeding at the breast, which you probably are if you're on this video. This is why it's really important to understand how pumping works for you individually, every little facet of it, so that you can use your breast pump to manipulate your milk supply the way you want and add it into your feeding routine intentionally. So here are the main things I would focus on if I were trying to use my pump to control my milk supply, similar to how a well-feeding baby would. The key here is efficient milk removal. I know I say that word a lot, but it's really important, meaning that you can completely empty your breast in a reasonable amount of time. Essentially, I would address every aspect of our proficient pumping pyramid, which is the core methodology that we teach to moms about pumping efficiently. So first, I would make sure you have the right schedule for your body. How much milk can your breast hold? How long can you go between pumping sessions before your supply dips? What does your baseline milk supply look like? These are all questions you should know to be able to find a pumping schedule that works for you so that you can then combine that in between your baby schedule. Second, I would make sure that you have the right flange size. Using the wrong flange size can make pumping really uncomfortable or even painful. It can make pumping less efficient and just overall cause a really frustrating experience. So measuring your breasts is a simple skill and you really are the best person to do it. So we actually teach self-flange sizing inside of our course. That's Pumping Efficiently one. I believe that one is in if you want to learn how to do that yourself and how to reevaluate and readjust as you continue this journey. There's more information in there. Third, I would make sure to learn how to stimulate multiple letdowns. A letdown, that milk ejection reflex, happens through a mix of both physical and mental cues. When you're breastfeeding, the baby does this naturally, like I said. There's really no work for you. But with a pump, we need to be able to trigger multiple letdowns every session if you want to be able to remove all the milk that's there. Just kind of what needs to happen. Fourth, I would add in various pumping techniques, kind of exploring different ways to make the pump more like the biological norm. That can really boost output and the speed of milk removal. Fifth, I would experiment with my pump settings and figure out which ones work most effectively for me. And then sixth, I would make sure that I'm not getting in my own way, making sure my hormones are working like they should so that milk can flow as easily as possible. The second step when combining breastfeeding and pumping is to set up your pumping schedule. Now, I know you've all seen those perfect pumping schedules on Google or Pinterest, right? The ones that have the pumping sessions every 3 hours with the really cute graphics. But the truth is, those aren't great for even exclusive pumping, but they definitely don't work when you're dealing with the unpredictability of a baby feeding at the breast too. The key is creating a combination schedule, all right? And the question that you really need to ask yourself is, how often are my breasts being emptied, either by a baby or a breast pump? All right, so to create your own pumping schedule when you're combining it with breastfeeding, you start by tackling your baby's typical nursing times. All right, for 2 to 3 days, kind of when is my baby nursing? Again, babies are unpredictable, so ish here is good. Then kind of fill in the pumping sessions where needed. So if you'll be separated from your baby, you'll need to replace that feed, right? But if you're just sneaking them into, it can help to have a kind of baseline. A good starting point for combination feeding is to keep total milk expressions in 24 hours around 8 to 10 times. You'll know if you've been on this channel before, for those who are pumping, I usually never recommend that we go more than 8 times a day. But when you have a baby as well, sometimes they take shorter, more frequent feeds. So sometimes we do see the total number go a little bit higher just because the baby they do different things, right? Breastfeeding and pumping are different skills. It looks a little bit different for everyone, and it kind of depends on the lengths and frequency of your baby's feeds, but somewhere between like 8 to 10, sometimes even 12 is fine. Again, if your baby's eating frequently through the night, that number may be higher. Some moms are able to pump large quantities of milk just a few times a day, while others can only, pump a little and then need to pump more often. So follow your baby's lead. If your baby is feeding every 3 hours, for example, and you're going to be away for work for 6 hours, you can easily do the math there. You need to replace one feed if you're going to feed them before you leave and before you get home with a pumping session. But in order to know how often you need to pump, first, you need to understand your baby's feeding rhythm, and you need to be confident that when you do pump, you can remove enough milk in a pumping session. Some popular times I've seen some of my students choose to add in pumps are after the first feed of the morning. It's usually easy to get some of that extra nighttime milk out. 15 to 30 minutes after a full feed. Any time of the day may also work. And then before the mom goes to bed is also a really popular time to add in a pump. So if your baby's going to bed at 8 p.m. and you don't go to bed till 10, kind of sneaking one in before your bedtime can be a really nice time. Of course, adding in nighttime pumps is also an option, but it is not fun and really needs to be done very intentionally. We cover more of these scheduling things and night feeds inside of our milk supply mastery course, actually, because it's important that you have a lot of options because your days are going to look wildly different, especially if you've got a baby at the breast. No mother and baby routine is going to look the same as someone else because, your days probably don't even look the same, right? So being flexible is key here, while also being intentional with your milk supply. Okay, step 3. Since we mentioned pumping to keep your supply steady, I think we can also talk about pumping with purpose. So here's the big question. What is the reason that you're combining breastfeeding and pumping? Every pumping session should have a clear goal. Are you replacing a missed feed, like you're separated from your baby? Are you relieving fullness? Are you building a freezer stash? Or are you not really sure and you're just adding in pumping because you think you should? Are you working on feeding at the breast skills, like your baby is struggling and you're pumping to protect your milk supply while you work on those skills? See how all of those different scenarios, you might approach these schedules and these timings very differently. So knowing why you're pumping, why are you adding that into the breastfeeding relationship really helps you avoid oversupply or interrupting the baby's feeding schedule, and burnout. Your pumping schedule, again, is going to look really different depending on what you're trying to accomplish. So let's cover a few common scenarios here just to give you an idea of what I mean by that. Let's say you're going back to work and your goal is to keep up your milk supply and provide bottles for your baby to drink at daycare the next day. So in this case, as long as you're using your pump efficiently and removing milk well, you should be able to pump on a set schedule. Doesn't really matter when your baby's eating while you're gone. You can just set it and find a schedule that keeps your milk supply stable. If you're pumping less than your baby eats, quantity-wise, that's either an issue with incomplete emptying of your breast with your pump, which is very common, or potentially overfeeding your baby from a bottle, which is also very common. We cover bottle feeding in the milk supply course, I believe it is. Here's another example. If you are trying to build up your milk supply or build a freezer stash, you may just be sneaking in small, short pumping sessions occasionally. And this looks different depending on each mom's personal needs, the baby's current schedule, your current milk supply status, and other barriers you have in your life. But it's usually going to be a mix of pumping in between feeds and kind of just slowly stashing away milk and or increasing supply a little bit to create that extra that you're looking for. And if you're pumping to relieve fullness, it's going to look totally different too. So if you're struggling with overproduction or engorgement, or you're trying to cut the nighttime pumps out, pumping more often might be doing you a disservice, right? You'll need to adjust your pumping times or lengths of the sessions with a lot of intention. Potentially not removing all the milk on purpose from your breast, just enough to find some relief and meet your goal. Do you see how difficult it would be to take one generic pumping schedule, slap it on your fridge, and then just do what someone else on social media said worked for them? It really might have worked for them, but is it going to work for you is the question. So before you start pumping, try and have a clear picture of why you're doing it so that you can come up with the best strategy and schedule that works for you. Okay, step 4. Now let's say that you've mastered pumping, you're on a great schedule, but suddenly your baby starts giving you problems feeding at the breast. Maybe they're fussy, impatient. Maybe someone tells you that your baby has nipple confusion, right? The dreaded words. There are a few reasons why nipple confusion happens. But the main one is that the milk flows so much faster and easier from a bottle, and babies kind of develop a preference for that. The baby doesn't have to change their suckling patterns to make more milk come out. They don't have to wait patiently for the milk. They barely even have to suck at all because the milk flows so easily from a bottle. And that's why when combining pumping and feeding at the breast, we always recommend paced bottle feeding. When someone else feeds your baby by bottle, pace matters. When you feed your baby by a bottle, pace matters. Paced feeding slows the milk flow down, so your baby has to work a little bit more, similar to how they do at the breast. This helps prevent nipple confusion, or sometimes I call it flow preference because I feel like that's more often what it is, and this will also help protect your supply. I'm going to do a quick overview of paced feeding, but if you want a more in-depth look, there's extensive information about this in that milk supply course, as well as information you can share with other caregivers. So here's how you do it. You want to hold the baby upright, supporting their head and neck. You want to keep the bottle horizontal, not tipped up, right? Let your baby draw the milk into the nipple rather than pushing it in, so it can be totally empty as well. I actually think I might have done this on another video on the channel. If I can find it all, I'll put it there for you. And then pause every few minutes when there's a break and take the bottle out, right? Put it back in. Again, horizontally, not vertically, using gravity to come down. And this method can teach your baby to control the flow better. It helps them stay satisfied longer and helps them transition back to the breast a lot easier. It does take a little bit longer, and often caregivers can be a little resistant to this suggestion, but it can really help keep your baby happy with the breast and the bottle. What I would hate to see is that your baby weans earlier than you wanted simply because we added the bottle in there. And the last principle we're going to discuss in this video is troubleshooting and adjusting. So combining two separate skill sets is really tricky. Some days you'll pump and your baby will be hungry just as you're finishing. Some days you'll be waiting for your baby to wake up so you can feed them, and they're going to sleep for another hour, kind of extending your expression schedule there. You'll pump after a feed and get only drops, and sometimes you'll get several ounces. It can be kind of random when you're combining these two things. This is all kind of part of the process, and it can be normal. It's not going to be perfect, and you are not always going to get it right. You are going to end a pumping session and then have a hungry baby and say, well, now what do? Right? That is going to happen. We try to avoid it, but it just happens. The key is to have control and understanding in the areas that you actually can. And those really are in your milk supply and what it's capable of, and knowing what your baseline is. What is your baseline pumping output? You should feel comfortable knowing that you can fully empty your breasts with your breast pump, right? That's something that you can control. So when you choose to pump, you're intentionally navigating your milk supply. Feeding at the breast gills, something that you can control a little bit here. And I know we don't talk much about the breastfeeding part in this video, but that's really where I recommend that you can work with your IBCLC on. Again, on this channel, we focus heavily on pumping. That's why this video has been geared toward that. But get some help. If that's why you're pumping is because your baby's struggling at the breast, work on those feeding skills. You can also control your expectations, making sure that those are realistic and achievable. That's really essential, because you can control then when and how you adjust things. Don't burn yourself out trying to hit a goal that either no longer serves you or is unrealistic to begin with. And if you're thinking right now, geez, I don't understand my baseline milk supply, or I'm not really sure that I'm pumping well, or I have very little confidence in almost everything you've said in this video, then these are some things that we can help with. These are things that are in your control that you have the ability to learn and master. I'm going to put several resources down in the description for you on combining breastfeeding and pumping. And really, I think a big part of finding control in this experience is feeling confident that you can pump well, so that every time you sit down to pump, you know you can empty your breasts. And that gives you control of, do you want to empty your breasts? If you don't want to because your baby's going to eat soon, then you don't have to. But you get to control how that happens. We walk you through this extensively in our Pumping Efficiently course. And then a lot of the milk supply management, bottle feeding, that kind of stuff is in our milk supply mastery course. Did I say Pumping Efficiently on that first one? Anyway, you can combine them both together, which is what I recommend, because that's going to give you the best bet. And if you happen to be a working mom, we have a whole working mom bundle for you too, of course, because that's who we've been working with for a long time now. But I want to leave you with this. You can successfully combine breastfeeding and pumping together in a really purposeful, intentional, and peaceful way. You just need to find the areas that you can control and learn what your own body is capable of. I would love for you to know and understand your own body to that level. And you really, really can, and we can help. If you need anything, let us know in the comments. But good luck. Combo breastfeeding and pumping. It's tricky, but you can do it. Happy pumping.